Welcome everyone. Today we are going to be creating an Excel dashboard. The dashboard we are going to be creating today will be very simple yet interactive. So without further much delay, let's get right to it. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to prepare the data. I'm going to be using some details, so you should follow up. So I'm going to put in the date, region, product, and sales. For the date, I'm going to press Control semicolon. So I was going to put in today's date, Control semicolon, and I'm going to drag it down, let's say to 11. Let's leave it this way. So for the region, let's use north, west, east. Let's drag it down, Control C, Control V. Let's press cancel. Let's just add north and south. Now for the products, let's use products A, B, C, blah, blah, blah. Product A, product B, product B. For the sales, let's put in random figures. Now that we are done filling our data, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to create our pivot tables. So we are going to create a new sheet called pivot tables. I've already created mine. This is mine right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a pivot tables that will summarize sales. It will be 3 pivot tables, and these pivot tables will summarize sales based on the region. It will summarize sales based on the products, and it will summarize sales based on the date, which is sales over time. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake here. So let's go ahead and create these pivot tables. So how we're going to create that? What we need to do is we're going to navigate up and click Insert. Click on Pivot Table. Click on From Table/Range. Now a table is going to pop up. We are going to specify the range. So remember, the range is in our order sheet, which is raw data. So all we need to do is navigate to the other sheet, and you can see raw data is populated here. So all we need to do is click on this date right here, and we're going to highlight all our data here. As you can see, everything here is highlighted. Now for the existing worksheet, it's telling us that, okay, where do you want us to put your pivot tables? We want our pivot tables to be here, where we specify. Click here. We want our pivot table to be here. So we're going to click on OK. On the right side of the screen, we have the date, region, product, and sales, which is the column name. So now what we are going to do is that since we want to create 3 pivot tables, one is based on region, the total sales based on region, based on date, and based on product. Let's start with the region. So we're going to click region and drag it down to rows, and the region is shown on our screen right here. So we're going to click on the sales and drag it down to values. And as you can see, for the east, the sum of sales is this figure right here. For north is this figure, for south and west and the grand total is 8,058. So now that we are done creating this table, I want us to name our table. Navigate up under pivot table, analyze, navigate up. This is the name of our table. Let's give it pivot table 1. We're going to need that later. So now let's create our second pivot table. Click on any empty cell right here where you want your second pivot table to be. I'm going to click here. After we are done doing that, we are going to navigate to insert, click on pivot table, click on from table range, and we're going to do what we did the last time we created the first pivot table. So head back to our raw data, which is the sheet that contains our raw data, and immediately we click on raw data below, we are going to see the name of the table or the range. So all we need to do is click on date and highlight everything here. So for the existing worksheet, we are going to leave it this way, which is this cell right here. We are going to click OK. So I'll navigate to the right and click on, this time we're going to click on product, or click on product. Let's click on product. And immediately we click on product, it automatically entered into the rows. So we are going to click on sales and to go to the values. And this is how we created our second pivot table. Let's do the same. Let's create our third table. Remember, it's 3: the product, the sales, and the region. So let's do this. Sorry, we have created the region. What is remaining right now is the date. So let's get our third table, navigate to any empty cell right here. Let's use this. Let's say this. So now we're going to navigate up, insert, pivot table, from table, the table range. We're going to head back to our raw data. We're going to highlight everything here. Existing worksheet, start from here. We click OK. Now we specify for the dates. We click dates. It entered our rows. We click cells. It came into our values. And guys, we have created our 3 pivot tables. So what should be the next thing we are going to do? We're going to create the bar. We're going to create charts from these 3 pivot tables. We're going to create charts from these 3 pivot tables. So how are we going to do that? What we need to do is that, okay, let's start with pivot table 1, which is the region, the cells for each region. So we're going to highlight everything here, highlight it. Now we're going to navigate to insert up. We're going to navigate, you see, under charts right here, we're going to click on recommended charts. We're going to click on all charts. We're going to be using bar charts. So click on bar chart here. You can specify which one you want, but I'm going to go for clustered bar. So I'll click OK. And this is our chart right here: the west, the south, the north, the east, and the amount. So I'm going to click or drag this down to reduce the size. So I'm going to navigate it up and put it here. Let's do the same for the other 2 tables. Light, insert, recommended charts, all charts. This second table, we're going to be using pie charts. So let's click on pie charts. Click OK. Drag it down. So we're going to leave it this way. Let's cancel this here. Let's drag it here. Now let's do the same for the third table. Highlight everything here. Insert, recommended charts, all charts. So we're going to be using a line. We're going to be using line here. Since it is sales over time, which is date, we're going to be using line here. Click OK. We're going to drag it down and put it right here. So now we have our charts. These are our pivot tables, and we have our chart gotten from each pivot table. So now the next thing we are going to do is that this chart here represents this data. You can see the chart, each chart represents each table. So now the next thing we are going to do is that we want to make it interactive, and that's where Slicer comes into play. So how do we create that? All we need to do is that we're going to select, this is our pivot table 1, this one. We're going to highlight it. So our pivot table 1. And what we are going to do is we're going to click on insert. We're going to click on insert, and we are going to navigate to Slicer. You can see Slicer on my screen. Click on Slicer. And guys, they are telling us there's no connection here. And that's because we didn't highlight the data here. Let's do it again. So let's cancel. We're going to click on this table here. Click on insert, slicer, and this time it displayed the date, the region, the product, and the sales. Since we are targeting a region in this table, we are going to click on the region and we click OK. And this is the slicer for this region sales. So we're going to make it short. I'm going to resize it. Let's put it here. Let's do the same for the other two tables. So for this, we are going to click and highlight the data here. Navigate to insert, click on slicer, and this time we're going to use the product and click OK. And this is it. We're going to put it here. And let's do the same for this. Click, highlight, insert, slicer for dates and click OK. And guys, we created our pivot table, we did our charts, we have done our slicer. Guys, the next thing I want us to do is that I want us to hide this pivot table so that I will show you how the data interact with each other. And guys, before hiding our tables, our pivot tables, I want us to do something very important. I want us to connect our slicers to pivot tables. So let's start with the date slicer. Click on date. After clicking on date, we are going to navigate to slicer at the top and click on report connections. So now this date is connected to this table. This date is connected. Wait, let me cancel this. Let me click on this table. Click on this table, like highlight it. Now navigate to pivot table analyze. Now this is the name of the table. Let's name it pivot table 3. After we are done, we click enter. Now do the same for the product table. We highlight everything here. Under pivot table analyze, I'm going to rename this to pivot table 2 and click enter. We have already renamed this table. Let's highlight, let's see. You can see it is pivot table 1. So now for the date slicer, we're going to click on it, click on slicer, click on report connections. And since it is pivot table 3, you can see it is already marked. It is already marked. Look at it. It is already marked. For this date, it is already connected to this pivot table, which is pivot table 3. So we click OK. We do the same for product. We click on report connection. Okay, it is marked also. We click OK. We do the same for region. Click on report connection. Yeah, it is marked pivot table 1. So click OK. Now that this is out of the way, so what we are going to do next is that we are going to hide our pivot tables because we want to organize our sheet and I want to show you how the interaction works. So let's hide our pivot tables. What we need to do is we are going to highlight the 3 tables here. We're going to highlight the 3 tables. We're going to navigate under our data, navigate to data, and navigate to this group right here. Click on group, and it will show whether we want to group by rows or we want to group by column. I'm going to select columns and click OK. Now, if you notice, there's a line at the top with minus. So we're going to click this minus sign, click on it, and our pivot tables are hidden. After hiding our pivot tables, guys, I want us to organize this so that I'm going to show you how the interaction works. So let's organize this real quick. The product, let me move it this way. So guys, I want us to see this very clear, and that is the reason why I want us to take it one after the other. So we are going to be starting with products. We are going to be starting with this chart right here. So now, if you notice this chart, it contains all of our products from product A to product J. It contains all of our products. So now, if we head over to the product slicer and we click on product D, it changes. This is how we interact with our data. If we head over to the products and click on product H, product I, everything change. If you notice this right here, this part of my screen, as I'm clicking on it, it's changing here. Even if it's not reflecting on this chart right here. So if I click on product A, it changes here. Click on product B, it changes, product C, product D, product E, and we can click on everything and it is going to change here. So that's how this particular chart works. So now we are going to reduce the size. We are going to move it over. So now let's bring in the next chart, which is this chart right here. Let's put this behind. Now let's increase the size of this chart right here. This chart is making use of line charts and it corresponds to the date. So if we click on any date right here, we click on this date, it is going to change. As you can see, it changes and it corresponds to 300, which is the sum of total sales here. If we click on this date right here, it is also going to change. Sum of sales for this particular date is 100 and something here. So this is what we call data interaction. You see, for every date we click, it is going to reflect on our charts. So let's reduce the size of these and let's go over the last one, which is the sum of total sales based on the region. Based on the region, this is the slicer here. So if you click on East, only East is showing on our chart. If you click on North, the same thing. If you click on West, South, and if you click on West, it does exactly the same thing. This is how we create a dashboard and do interaction with it. If you are confused in any way, please, I will gladly respond to any one of your questions. Or if I did something wrong, you can leave what I did wrong in the comment section and I'll do my best to rectify it. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to give a like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome Excel stuff like this. Thank you.